Hello and welcome to another race. Race day 9. We are in the US this time for F1, 2, and 3. But before that, we have some supercarts to get through in Qatar. So focus tracks today. Go ahead and turn on the cargo burr sounds. As Can You Take Me Higher and Julian O'Sullivan and Puff the Second are battling in this qualifier, as well as Trey Daniels for the pole position. Julian O'Sullivan will end up taking first place. As they're off, there's a lot of bump and grind between Puff the Second and Julian O'Sullivan and Trey Daniels. Can You Take Me Higher in that fourth position with Lord Farquaad's and Lance Stroll in that fifth and sixth position. We have a classic in Qatar. As Farquaad is making a really great move to try and get past Trey Daniels, but Trey Daniels is holding him off. Julian O'Sullivan and Puff the Second battling back and forth as Puff makes the pass on the outside of Julian O'Sullivan. A name we haven't heard in a while, of Bo Lind, or I haven't said too much. Bo Lind on those hard tires will move up in the order, as Puff the Second and Lord Farquaad on those softs do fall back into place. Our race leaders, Julian O'Sullivan, Trey Daniels, and Can You Take Me Higher, rounding out the top three, as Lord Farquaad and Lance Stroll Jr. Get back into the swing of things. Bolin does finally go into the pits. We'll see how far or what order that puts him in. Coming out of the pit, that does put him neck and neck with Lance Stroll for that sixth position, as they'll battle back and forth for a lot of this race. And Bob Jenkins holding eighth. With about 2.5 laps remaining, we have Julian O'Sullivan, Trey Daniels, and Can You Take Me Higher as the clear front runners, with Puff the Second about 3 seconds behind. Trey Daniel makes his final pit. We'll see if Julian O'Sullivan is able to hold on with these very worn medium tires. Can You Take Me Higher similarly on just slightly less worn tires, and then Puff the Second on fresh softs has a great chance to catch up to the two of them. Can You Take Me Higher boxing out Julian O'Sullivan, but also equally going into the ravine as Julian O'Sullivan crashes off of him like a backboard, as Julian O'Sullivan will take the race with Can You Take Me Higher getting second and Puff the second and third. Trey Daniels having a very solid fourth place finish, and Lord Farquaad's in fifth, Bolins in sixth, Lance Stroll in seventh, Woody Guthrie in eighth, Tiny Bot and Small Bot in ninth and 10th, and then Bob Jenkins just outside of the top 10 with 11. Congratulations to Julian O'Sullivan for winning the race, and Puff the second getting fastest lap. We take a second to post these results, and we'll get on to Formula 3. USA, for this focus track, it's USA 2 for the map, for people who don't know. And it's got a little bit of rain in the US. So as we get our first experience with USA 2, we have some rain actually coming out for the qualifying lap, which I find pretty hilarious, as all of these drivers have opted for these soft tires. Annie Skywalker will take the pole position, followed by Crash Test Dummy and Ryan Gosling, rounding out the top three. But yeah, USA track looks pretty interesting, especially with the wet that'll ensue. And all of our racers starting off the lap on these wet tires. As Crash Test Dummy has the inside line, moves back and forth with Annie Skywalker. And Ryan Gosling finds a clean line, but comes in a little too hot, going through that final, I guess, turn. The second hump of the M. Yeah, a lot of really interesting spots where drivers can go off the course here, even being on these wet tires, as Ryan Gosling takes a very early lead. and the tandem of Hot Wheels, I believe that's Hot Wheels, Crash Test Dummy and Fillmore Carlin, doing really well to stay towards the front. Nash DiPaolo in the second group of drivers, as well as Carl Barca, Victory, A. Jobin, and then Matthew Mayhem and Quick Draw McGraw rounding out your top 10. But yeah, a lot of the drivers at the very beginning all have a good opportunity at this point to stay in it. That's pretty much all drivers within the top 13 are within 5 seconds of each other, which at this point in the race, about 3.5 laps through, is atypical. As the forecast switches to some sunshine, it'll be really interesting to see if any of these drivers make the decision to switch over to softs, or how long, as Ryan Gosling, Annie Skywalker, and Crash Test Dummy opt to switch off their tires. Fillmore Carlin, Carl Barca going a little bit ballsy, keep their wet tires on and give themselves a tremendous separation from the rest of the group. Almost a 7-second difference between Fillmore Carlin and Crash Test Dummy, who is in that third grouping. So yeah, big separation happened very quickly. Fillmore Carlin and Carl Barca now opting to switch back onto off of those wet tires, pushing them back into 4th and 10th. Carlin opting for the hard tires. I don't think that'll be really impactful for him. Crash Test Dummy, the clear front runner with about a 1.5-second lead over Ryan Gosling, and Annie Skywalker charging. Nash DiPaolo 1.5 behind Annie Skywalker, and Fillmore Carlin right on his tail. Crash Test Dummy is about to start lapping some drivers. There's a battle between Nash DiPaolo and Annie Skywalker for third. The forecast just switched to some more rain. We start to see a lot of these drivers come in, switch on to these enters for Crash Test Dummy, as Ryan Gosling actually got boxed out of his pole position a little bit from Crash Test Dummy, but apparently didn't cost him too much. Crash Test Dummy on those intermediates, with Gosling and DiPaolo in 2nd and 3rd respectively are on wet tires. Annie Skywalker in 4th is on intermediaries, and Jobin as well. And that's the top 5. Fillmore Carlin sitting in 6th. As the call for sunshine comes back out, Gosling and DiPaolo on those wets swap their tires, which I think is a really negative decision. They are on those hards, but we'll see how quickly things change, as we've been getting some pretty quick weather rolls. Crash Test Dummy and Annie Skywalker are choosing to pit now, so I'm kind of surprised with the leads that they had. They didn't sit on those tires and take them a few laps just in case the weather forecast changed. Ryan Gosling easily catching back up, only 2 seconds behind the race lead. I thought the switch to hards was going to be detrimental, but if the entire field switches a lap later, then it's not going to make any sort of difference. Annie Skywalker on those soft tires is just slowly gaining speed and slowly passes Ryan Gosling for that second position, but it is back and forth between the two of them, and Fillmore Carlin in fourth with Nash DePaulo and A. Jobin really fighting for that fourth position. Looking at the rest of the field, we've got Victory in 8th, Carl Barca and Matthew Mayhem of Mole KTM in 9th and 10th, and then Quick Draw McGraw just outside of the top 10 with Jackson Kyle right behind him in 12th. We do have Crash Test Dummy, about a second and a half to 3 seconds ahead of Ryan Gosling in second and Annie Skywalker in third. And Fillmore Carlin battling with A. Jobin still for that fourth position. Nash DePaulo has fallen a little bit behind, and then we also have Stevie Wee moving up the ranks into that 7th spot, passing Victory. Crash Test Dummy is the first driver to cross the for the white flag. As Ryan Gosling desperately tries to catch up and hold off a charging A. Jobin and Fillmore Carlin. Ryan Gosling does get denied by Villanueva being in front of him. We will have Crash Test Dummy take the checker flag, followed by Ryan Gosling, A. Jobin in third, Fillmore Carlin in fourth. We have Annie Skywalker in fifth, Nash DePaulo in sixth, Stevie Wee in seventh, Victory in eighth, Carl Barca in ninth, and Quick Draw McGraw moving up to that 10th spot. Impressive. Matthew Mayhem just on the outside looking in. Fillmore Carlin with the fastest lap. And a really solid race for Hot Wheels Racing. And we get into our F2 race, dry track today for both F2 and F1. As the first laps, or the qualifying laps going, Lady Driver does find themselves having a little bit of separation from the pack. And Morgan Sorrow and Scott Pilgrim and Scud Muffin also up there towards the front. So we have Lady Driver taking the qualifying lap, followed by Morgan Sorrow and Scott Pilgrim. Lady Driver has been driving possessed. I believe they have quite a few poles so far. Off the bat, there is a little bit of congestion for the immediate turn, as Lady Driver gets quite a bit of separation from everyone else. Morgan Sorrow and Scott Pilgrim as well, forming a pack themselves. And then we have quite a cluster of 4 through, I would say, 4 through 15 right now, with Furious Chickens, Steven Toast, Dale Gordon Jr., Stumpy Jones, Max, Cole Trickle, and Scud Muffin being extremely competitive together. Lady Driver doing a great job maintaining their advantage and having a little bit of separation from the group. But there's a lot of laps to still go. And Morgan Sorrow doing a really good job on those mediums, staying up with Lady Driver. We see right now that Lady Driver and Morgan Sorrow are neck and neck for first, with Scott Pilgrim and Stumpy Jones neck and neck for that third position. Ambrose Rove moving up to 5th, and Dale Gordon Jr. In that 6th spot comfortably, as we do have a little bit of separation finally about 5 laps into this race. Second pack includes Furious Chicken, Jimmy Johnson, Scud Muffin, Steven Toast, Max, Zoom Zoom I Go Quick, Cole Trickle, and Sisyphus Cuddles. We do actually have Lady Driver making the first pits, as well as Scott Pilgrim and Ambrose Rove. So they will be coming out charging. I foresee Morgan Sorrow and Stumpy Jones also going into the pit sooner than later. Dale Gordon Jr. also staying out there. Furious Chicken, taking advantage of being on hard tires, is now in that front grouping of drivers. Lady Driver opting for hard tires second, just as well as Scott Pilgrim doing pretty well. It's really interesting to see a lot of drivers taking some damage, a little bit more than I would have expected on this course and track. Currently, Stumpy Jones, being on those hard tires and staying in that front pack, is the last driver to pit, and currently has a 3-second lead. Stumpy Jones does go into the pit, giving Lady Driver the opportunity to catch up and pass him, as that was an extremely long pit. Lady Driver resumes control of first position. Morgan Sorrow in second, Scott Pilgrim in third, and Furious Chicken, having yet to pit, is falling into that 5th position as Stumpy Jones retakes 4th. Dale Gordon Jr. staying in the top 10, with Cole Trickle at 9th and Miguel Duhamel in that 10th spot. Miguel Duhamel also being one of those racers who's yet to pit. Furious Chicken just bleeding positions, opting to not pit the previous few laps, and is really just fallen from 4th all the way down to 7th, just as a result of not making their pits. Ambrose Rove, quick to pit, will go, went softs to softs onto another layer of softs, which I respect the hustle. Max is moving into that top 10, and Sisyphus Cuddles as well. Lady Driver is trying to hold off Stumpy Jones and Morgan Charro of Ferrari, and Scott Pilgrim of Alpiner sitting there in 4th, waiting for his opportunity to strike. It's quite a back and forth for this first position. Lady Driver has resumed first position as Stumpy Jones goes into the pit. Morgan Charro in 2nd and Scott Pilgrim in 3rd. Really quite a boneheaded decision of Stumpy Jones to pit, as his tires were extremely fresh, half wear, and were no worse than Lady Driver's. But he does catch up to the pack as he's not the immediate pack, but he catches up to Dale Gordon Jr., who's currently taking a pit. Scud Muffin is actually... Oh no, Scud, what happened? We found the tragedy. Scud Muffin has gotten DNF'd. Oh no, so what occurred is at the entrance to the pit. Oh, this is a tragedy. This is a tragedy. At the entrance to the pit, as you see, he ended up getting boxed out by another vehicle. And in an attempt to get back into the pit, his car just kept going and facing towards the pit. Oh, we're going to have to make some adjustments to this course and get it set up better for next time. Wow, that is such a tragedy. Heart goes out to Scud Muffin, our F3 champion of last season. That's also the people's champ. And what is unfortunate is that he's in a position where there's not a driving line or lane for people to hit him. So he's just permanently there. On a lot of courses, or some courses where you have DNFs, you can be in a line where other racers can hit you and you can actually get pushed and still finish the race. So, as it stands, we have Stumpy Jones in 1st, followed by Morgan Charro, Scott Pilgrim in 3rd, Lady Driver in 4th, and Dale Gordon Jr. in 5th. Furious Chicken, the lone racer of Maple Street right now, in 6th. Ambrose Rove in 7th, and Sisyphus Cuddles in 8th. Wow. I may find myself looking more... Oh, Scud Muffin is getting pushed. How did this happen? Oh my goodness. There's a chance. He is motoring. Toast giving a little bit of a brotherly shove. Come on, brother. I got you. This is some peak team play right here. Oh no, get out! Oh, nice. He's back into the driving lane. No! No! Scud! No! No! Oh, this is a tragedy. Oh, I thought he was finally going to get the... Oh, no. I thought he was finally going to get back into the pit. All right. As it stands, back to the racers. We currently have Lady Driver on some fresh hard tires in first, with Stumpy Jones behind her on some fresh mediums. Ambrose Rove sitting in third on some worn down hards. Scott Pilgrim making his moves into that third position as Dale Gordon Jr. and them are fighting for that third position. Lady Driver with a very solid lead of 2.5 seconds. Yeah, as Lady Driver is about to take the white flag, it is Lady Driver's race to lose, and Stumpy Jones is in second, Morgan Charro is in third, with a Scott Pilgrim tight on her tail. Dale Gordon Jr. in fifth, and Ambrose Rove in sixth right now. And Lady Driver will cross the finish line first, followed by Stumpy Jones. Scott Pilgrim will reassert himself into third, followed by Morgan Charro. Ambrose Rove will take fifth, and Dale Gordon Jr. will take sixth. Furious Chicken opting for a 2 pit stop race. Gets a phenomenal seventh. Sisyphus Cuddles in 8th, and Cole Trickle in 9th, and Max rounds out your top 10. Shoutouts to the fallen brother of Scud Muffin. Alright, it's time for some Formula One. Hopefully we don't end up with another scud situation. One of the differences between Formula 2 and 3 and Formula 1 is that there are 2 qualifying laps, as well as more just total laps. Currently we have Mamma Mia leading halfway through the qualifier with Xavi Venegas and Roger de Streek in third. Mamma Mia is getting the distance closed down on them by de Streek and Bodie, Utah. And Roger de Streek will take the pole position, followed by Mamma Mia and Harrison Andrews. Mamma Mia out to an early lead as the Street gives up his position, and Harrison Andrews is tight on Mamma Mia's heels with Alex Albono. But Roger de Streek just waits his turn right before the gets back in the top 2 position. Something that's abnormal and different just as a result of the incident that occurred, the scud situation. When it does get to the time where you start to see some pits, I'm probably going to put focus more on the entry for the pit. Now that we're about 4 laps through, we have a clear top 3 with Mamma Mia, Alex Albono, and Roger de Streek. And then in the second group, we have Pierre Dadley and Bodie, Utah. Leading Castile, Angelic, Harrison Andrews, Pete Savage, Von Salonier, Maldonado, and Burkhart in that grouping. We do have quite a bit of vehicle damage at this point in the race. 5 races in. A lot of competitiveness back and forth as Pete Savage almost gets careened into the median by Castile Angelic. Not looking so angelic right now. We do have our first pit stops of the race with Randall Devil, Tess Simmer, and Bobby Brooks going into the pit. Bodie, Utah, and District staying out on the course on their set of tires, giving them quite a bit of a lead amongst the group. Mamma Mia, despite taking the early pit stop, is already back into third, making phenomenal time. Harrison Andrews and Pete Savage are also taking their pits. Mamma Mia is getting boxed out by Bodie, Utah, and District, but quickly takes the inside line as both of those drivers opt to stay on with the competition of Mamma Mia. Bodie, Utah really pushed those hard tires and got them very far, as well as District. But what this has done is caused quite a massive gap between Alex Albano in second and Mamma Mia in first from the rest of the group, where there's actually a 6.5 second difference between second and third. Keep an eye on the pack for now. Well, first and second have such a clear separation from everything, and if it does close down the distance between them all, we'll go back and forth to them. As I say that, I believe Alex Albano has lessened the gap between first and second to less than a second. They are both on equivalent tire wear, so racing pretty identical, a pretty identical race. Mamma Mia does opt to pit before Alex Albano, and Alex Albano will have a sole possession of first, with Harrison Andrews actually making up the gap between them and Mamma Mia. Harrison Andrews on those hard tires versus Mamma Mia's softs. And then Pete Savage just behind Mamma Mia in that fourth position. And as I say that, Alex Albano does stop into it. I'm curious if Scud. I'm really looking forward to going back to the tape and seeing what actually happened to Scud. But yeah, Mamma Mia does resume that first position with Harrison Andrews just behind them, and Pete Savage staying strong in third. Roger Distreak also in that fourth position with Alex Albono in fifth and Bodie Utah in sixth. Pierre Dadley close behind them, as I believe that's Hendricks Motorsports is doing a very solid job, which is really great to see. Them both being two drivers in the top 10 is phenomenal. Mamma Mia has regained a little bit of that separation they had earlier, with Harrison Andrews being just under 3 seconds behind, and then Pete Savage being about 4.5 seconds behind Mamma Mia. So, yeah, so far a really solid cruising race for Mamma Mia, and hope that it holds on for them. Mamma Mia on those softs, those have degraded quite a bit compared to the hards of Distreak behind him. As Mamma Mia goes off into the grass, Harrison Andrews actually in a really opportunistic situation where they are likely going to be the only racer to close the distance between the other ones in that second grouping of drivers. Mamma Mia does opt in for another pit stop. They probably have another one, as Distreak on those hards will assume the first position, but Mamma Mia is close behind him. And Albano stays in that fourth. Harrison Andrews is in third, just 3 seconds behind Mamma Mia. But like I mentioned previously, Mamma Mia is closing down the gap between Roger Distreak and will ultimately pass him just after the entrance to the pit. Randall Devil has done a phenomenal job getting himself back into this conversation of the top 10. I recall towards the very beginning of the race, I'm pretty sure he was dead last lap 3. So racing very expertly. Mamma Mia now about 5 seconds ahead of Alex Albano. Has opened himself a very healthy gap. Harrison Andrews and Pete Savage battling back and forth for third. Pete Savage and Harrison Andrews are neck and neck as Pete Savage ends up passing Harrison Andrews. Yeah, Mamma Mia at this point has the track to himself with 7 laps to go. Or 8 laps to go, roughly. With 4 laps to go, Mamma Mia and Alex Albano still racing pretty identically in what their tire sets have been, and their degradation of tire is the same as well. Roger DeStreak doing a great job staying up into that top 3. Despite being about 4 seconds behind second, he's doing a really good job. Harrison Andrews as well in 5th, and Bodie Utah in that 6th position. So it is a 2-horse race coming into 3 left with Alex Albano just 2 seconds shy of Mamma Mia. Will they stick with this tire set combination, or these sets of tires, or will they opt for a reset? Pete Savage has passed Roger DeStreak finally, assuming that 3rd position. Zavi is just incurring penalty after penalty, not letting people pass him. It's the 2nd one I've seen from him. It appears as though Mamma Mia may keep with this tire set, as there are 2 laps remaining, and him and Alex Albano are really pushing these tires. Pete Savage on these half-worn softs has made up some tremendous amount of time, only being 3 seconds behind Alex Albano. But Mamma Mia and Alex Albano are really taking these turns quite slow and wide, so maybe not the most efficient, but they have quite a lead, and they're listening to their crew command. Mamma Mia goes into the final lap with the lead, and Alex Albano 2nd and a half behind, and Pete Savage has trimmed down that 2nd and a half disadvantage down to just half a second. Mamma Mia getting caught on Mark Mueller, and Alex Albano also getting caught behind Mueller and Devil. Pete Savage in 3rd, as he is looking to pass Albano on the final lap. Mamma Mia will take the checker flag. Albano close behind him in 2nd. Pete Savage in 3rd. Harrison Andrews in 4th. Bodie Utah making up that ground and gaining 5th. Pierre Dadley in 6th. Von Salonier in 7th, DeStreak in 8th, and in 9th is a battle between Alex Burkhart and Pastor Maldonado, and Castile Angelic will take 11th, being on the outside. Yeah, Mamma Mia with the fastest lap. Good stuff. Drove a clean race. That'll conclude the race for, I guess, the first race. We're going to take a little bit of a break. I'm going to drop the stream and then update all the drivers, and we'll have the second stream today. After I get all that done, I'll catch you after the break, and thanks for hanging out.